Good morning. You're watching Worlds Without Rule of Law, and we are here in Southern Virginia. It is hot. Hot, hot, hot. But it's a beautiful day. We do need the rain, but it's nice to be able to work outside and get stuff done too. Here, I am building, let me turn you around. Here I am building 2 cold frames. So I got these locust fence posts gifted from my neighbor. I'll just show you one here, and they're all in varying condition. They're not square cut on the end, they just use them for posts, so they weren't too particular about angles or whatever. And they'd been in the ground for quite some time, but they're holding up pretty well. And so what I did was I square cut best I can. They were bare to cut through. Square cut the ends, and I cut, there's one, I went up 4 courses, which I think is going to be my final. Here's one I cut, the first. I'm only going to make 2 of them. So I cut 2 at 6 foot and 2 at 30 inches. And I pieced them together in such a manner that I can overlap them, come up 4. Let me just show you here. So what I'm going to do here, is, yeah, that's not going to work. I'm going to come up here on this back side. I'm going to come up approximately 2 feet. On the front side, I'm going to come up approximately 1 foot, and I'm going to angle the top. And I had a friend of mine, a longtime subscriber who I met and we became friends, gifted me a bunch of polycarbonate sheets. And I know I talked about it before. Down there I ran the lines out. You can see them. I'm gonna build a greenhouse. I think I have enough to do that and this. I'm hoping I do. But I'm gonna make these cold frames. So again, I'll come up 2 feet in the back, 1 foot in the front, roughly, and angle the top. Now that's the north side, so that side probably won't be poly. I'll just, in order to save some poly and conserve on it so it lasts me for everything I want to do, I'll just make a solid wall out of whatever materials I have around, and I'll try to insulate it. And what I'm going to do on the sides, on the angle side and on the front where it's poly, and on the part that flips up, the lid, I'm going to see if I can double layer it and put a, I don't know, 1 inch, 2 inch, whatever in between. Well, maybe there'll be 2-inch walls. 2x4 just makes it easier. The lid doesn't have to be that thick, but I'll caulk it really good and trap the dead air inside between the 2 poly layers, and that'll give me some insulation. The locust is pretty thick, 5 inches plus. Most of it varies a little, but I think that'll give me a decent amount of insulation there. And then these will be, they could be starters in the spring. I'm probably not going to get the greenhouse done till late in the fall or early next spring if all goes well, working on a budget constraint. So hopefully that'll be in the near future. But this fall into the winter I want to grow salad greens, and so I'm going to concentrate on these 2 spots. And I actually have a barrel. I have some ideas. I might lay the barrel down in there and fill it with water, and I can paint it black and just use it for passive heat. So in the colder days in the fall and winter, it heats up with the sun and then lets the heat out at night. It should be insulated well enough to where I don't really have to heat it, just to keep it from freezing in there. And if that's not enough, I've got a kind of an idea that I was working on. I found a site. He did all the engineering on the panels, which really was most of the thought work to it. But he matches, I can't think of his name offhand, but when I get further into the project, if I do end up doing this, of course I'll link that site. But he matches the panels with the water heater elements. So if I have a barrel of water laying down and I put a water heater element in it, I can run it off a solar panel. Again, I know that's the engineering, is matching the solar panel to the water heater to get the most efficiency. So if I do that, then in the fall and even in the winter, as we have sunny days, these will be positioned pretty well for sun exposure in the winter. Then that solar panel will heat that water up, and then at night it'll dissipate that heat, and when it rises out of the barrel, there'll be my trays or bins or whatever I'm going to grow in will be right over it, so the heat will rise right into the soil, right into the planters. If I need to do that, I might be able to just do it with passive solar. The winters don't get too brutal here, but you know, I'll experiment with it this fall. I probably won't add the solar heaters and all that if needed until next year, because I'm going to see how I make it through this year, and see if I can do it just with passive heating. And of course, ultimately, if my goal, which my goal is ultimately to grow salad greens all year long, then I believe I am going to need some sort of external heat source, and that may just be enough. Most greens, salad greens and stuff like that, lettuces, chards, most of that stuff is pretty cold tolerant, so as long as it doesn't freeze in there, I should be okay. Anyway, that's my project for today. It's a lot of cutting. It's tough cutting through that stuff. Oh, my wife's home. There goes the dog. But just plugging away at this. This is my project kind of for the week. And among other things, trying to move forward on the shed and so many different irons in the fire. We're moving forward. With God's grace and mercy, He lets me get up every day and have the strength to do something. And so I'm thankful for that. And stay tuned. As this project progresses, I'll keep you updated. Thanks for watching. God bless you.